How do you do when you do what you do? Ding, 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 ding. 3, 2, 1. What's up, my fellow crypto heads? I hope all is well for you in the land of crypto today. What you see before you is the weekly chart of Bitcoin, and we've got a massive, massive cup and handle that is formed. I don't spend a lot of time on the week chart, so I didn't see this. I watched a crypto zombie video the other day, and he showed this, so shout out to him. Look at this thing. This is a massive, supposedly bullish continuation pattern. There's the handle, cup and handle on the weekly. So I just wanted to show this because I do believe eventually this fits in with my overall analysis that, folks, this has just been the mid-cycle pump, right? I don't think this is the halving pump. You know, wherever this dump stops or this sideways movement stops, whatever happens here, the real halving pump, I do believe, is out here and will probably start in about August. Now, that's just speculation. Maybe it takes longer. The last cycle started back here. Or not the last cycle. The last pump, the last post-halving pump started right about here. And this is October of 2020. Now, the halving event was a month earlier this year. So if we just went by the last cycle, which isn't a very smart idea to do, okay, here's where the last pump started, post-halving started, say middle October. I started ramping up a little before that, but say middle October, so that would be middle of September this time, right? So June, July. So this is where we're at right now, right? If we looked at the last cycle, this is where we're at right now, where I'm scribbling, and this is about where this next parabolic pump should start. So just to take that with a grain of salt, I just the point being, that's speculation, but the point being is when and if you watch my videos, you've heard me say this many times. This broke the all-time high, right? This all-time high was broken here, and it freaked everybody out. And that's when I started making videos again, because it looked like we were here in the cycle. This is the $20,000 level, ironically, where I got involved in Bitcoin for the very first time back here, November 2020. And this came up to the old all-time high of 20,000, and it went parabolic straight up. And that's what I initially thought was going on as I draw lines on my chart for no reason, right? And if you watch my videos, I don't want to bore you too much, so let's move on. But get off of there. That's what this looked like it was doing, right here. It looks like it was going to consolidate and just keep going, but no. And it freaked everybody out. And there's been a lot of bad analysis, and hopefully a lot of them have realized. I realized this a long time ago that this is likely the mid-cycle pump. So what do I mean? Real quick, not to bore you, but so this is 2019 here. So if you went back here, right here's like, say, the all-time high went up to 20,000. That 2017 cycle, 2 cycles ago, and it came down, right? It came down, and then like in the middle, the summer of 2019, there was this mid-cycle pump that went like this, went up to about here, and it kind of came back down, right? And so that's right. This old all-time high here. Say this is now the old all-time high, right? So when the price came up to here, boom, see that consolidation there? That's what everybody thought was going to start, right? So if you looked at the last cycle, then right, it came up here, the all-time high, right? And it broke the all-time high, and it looks like it's consolidating. How about no? Well, why didn't it happen? Because it's a mid-cycle pump, right? This whole thing here to the right, this whole thing here went longer to the right and higher to the right than this mid-cycle pump. So it was like if this mid-cycle pump went like this, broke the all-time high, and then came back down, and then way out here, it eventually pumped. That's kind of what's going on now. Right? And boom. Okay, so I didn't want to get into that in this video, but there it is. And Let me go back to see. That was the USD. So I'm on USDT, which is a little on Femex. I like it a lot better. It seems to be more accurate to me, and that's where I'm charting everything and trading everything. So let's go back over there, and my trade's going to pop up here. I want to show you my swing trade real quick. I'm short and I'm long. If you want to freeze the frame and go back and look at this, it doesn't look good. Looking at it now, with the exception of the $200 realized profit that they're paying me to keep that short open. But I don't want to talk too much about this either. But there it is. My long is 7x at about 71,000 entry price. And why did I do that way up there? Because at that time I thought Bitcoin might be pumping up to about 84,000. So it's just a smaller long than my short, obviously. But I was protecting my short, right? Because my short liquidation was up in that area. And long story short, so I just nibbled on a long, and I'm looking to add to that long. And this is just a swing trade because I don't have a lot of time to sit here and be real precise and get into day trading because I'm still working and making money. And so, for me, day trading, I need to sit here and watch, and I just simply can't do that at this point in time. And so this is my swing trade, and I've learned to cover my longs with my shorts and my shorts with my longs, and my shorts looking better and better every day, folks. And so eventually, if Bitcoin were to come down, and you just look at my trade there, and let's go over here let's full screen this and get away from my trade. But I just want to show that I like showing my trade because I do believe YouTubers should be showing their trades. They're telling people basically what to do, and then they say, they're giving people advice, and they say this is not advice. This whole video is literally advice, and then they put in that little blurb. This is not advice. Yeah, it is. Of course, it's advice. What the hell are you making videos for if you're not giving advice? Now, yes, entertainment and information. That's all true. And education, that's true too. But yeah, I'm giving you advice, right? I'm not a professional advisor, and you're not paying me, and no one's paying me, and I'm short and I'm long. So basically, I can say whatever I want to say. This is advice. Take it or leave it. Do your own thing. That's basically what this whole new financial revolution is all about. People don't tell you what to do. This is for you, right? You do everything yourself. So learn this. And yes, I am giving you financial advice. And yeah, I can do that because I'm not a financial advisor. And I have money wrapped up in exactly what I'm saying. So therefore, I can do that. And I just can't stand YouTubers, right? If you look at thumbnails on YouTube, they use the question mark. They give some bold statement about, it's disaster for Bitcoin coming, question mark. Right? So I don't want to do that. And I was also sick of them all just make every video. They're just giving advice, and then they say this is not advice. That's it's an integrity issue. Yeah, I am giving you advice. The hell you watching for? Yeah, this is advice. And so enough with that. Okay, daily chart. Let's take my chart off there, and just look at this. Especially if you're not experienced, you look at that. I don't know what does that say, And even with experience, you look at that, and it's going to take you a while to see stuff. But let's put my chart back on there. Boom, and so basically, what we've got going on now is leaving off my last video. I've made a few changes here to my chart. This gold line here on top and this gold line here on bottom, they're actually white lines. So they're just the same as all the other white lines as far as what they represent, different levels of support and resistance. But I've turned those to orange. Why? Because Bitcoin is kind of in a sideways consolidation now. I've always been calling it a downtrend, but it's kind of in between these two orange lines here, right? It's kind of going sideways for the most part. It is kind of looking like it's just going sideways now. And even if it did come down to 56,000 again, the bottom white line, 56,541. Even if it did, and I'm not saying it is, but even if it did make its way down here and bounce up, we're still basically in this sideways range, right? So that's those two orange horizontal lines. They were white. I just changed it to orange. And I've also put in this green descending little bullish parallel channel here. And I've also marked this area between these two white lines, a little under 65,000, a little over 65,000. I've actually shaded that now because it's more of a general area than it is two precise lines. Now, a lot of these lines horizontal you see on my chart actually line up almost perfectly with the Fibonacci retracement tool. So these lines aren't just stuff I'm making up, and these patterns aren't stuff I'm just making up. Right? These all represent something, and it's just, the lines themselves don't do anything. It's not some kind of magic, right? It's what they represent, or what's going on. Basically, I think with the Fibonacci sequence, and let's not get into that. But right now, currently, where are we at? We're in that zone around 65,000, and it's been there for a while. I've been watching it. Let's go down to the hourly, show you a little more detail. So I showed you the daily there with the charts, so you could get perspective. Let me zoom out one more time. Now this is the hourly. We're in that little green channel going down. And as you can see, I've put my little bull trap extension on top there. See this one here, the little gray one I've marked, and that's representing basically the wicks on the daily channel. The couple times that's went out and came back down. That's one thing. That's one characteristic I like to do, and you'll see that. There was some more on that chart, but let's not make this any longer than we have to. So where are we at now? We're in this green bullish descending channel. Right now, it's been on the heart line for quite some time. And the heart line and that white shaded area, basically the middle of that white shaded area is 65,000. It's a good support area, right? There's this white shaded area. It's the top of the white shaded area. It's the heart line of that channel. And for about the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, about the last 12 hours or so, it's been good support. And this hourly candle we're on now, it took a run to break down below it, but it came back up. But look what happened, right? So that's why I'm kind of making this video right now. And I have a tendency to start going down rabbit holes and talking about other stuff. But I wanted to make this a real short video, but obviously, it's still going to be a short video, but obviously I've covered a few extra topics. It's fun to talk about this stuff. But right now, look at that. It went down. It tried to break the heart line, and it came back up. And now look, it's just got rejected. So this white horizontal line here, 65,000, let's just say 65,500, has been support for like the last, 12 hours. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's been support for the last half day or so. And so now it came back up. It took a dive down, came back up. The heart line is now support, and that white line is now apparent to be resistance. So that's interesting. And this could be a big moment here for the near term Bitcoin price action. If this gets rejected here, and it can't get it back out of the white shade area, watch for this heart line to fail. And then it's this line here, which has been tested back here on these last two hourly candles here. You can see the wicks went down below, and that's 64,000, just say 64,800. And I wouldn't be surprised if it comes down there. And the more times it comes down, could just be the next time it comes down, it breaks through. But, the more times it comes down here, the more likelihood it is going to break. And in a nutshell, my short-term analysis over the next couple of days or whatever is probably more downside, and the volume's just real low. And it's good and bad. For if you're a bull, it's good that the volume's so low and the price isn't coming down a whole lot, right? But it's also bad because the volume's so low and the price isn't going up. And it is coming down. Let's go back to the daily. In my last video, I talked about this Batman pattern here, this double top here, put in the left ear, comes down. He's got kind of a little pointy head here, and it comes back up. And there's the right ear, and that's coming down. And I was talking about this dump that we're on right now would stop basically at this little consolidation area. See that? See how that's working? And see what exactly happened. That's no coincidence. This happens over and over and over. Small fractals, big fractals, all time frames. It's very, very common. Do you see where this last dump stopped right here? This is the daily chart. This wick right here is it 64,600, let's say, and look at this wick here, 64,600. See that? See, that's no coincidence. And so that's testing right now. This range here that was resistance on the way up is the same range that's support now on the way down, and it's testing the bottom of it now. And what I was saying in my last video is that the real common thing to do is, I was saying this big green pump here. When you see the big pumps, if it's not in a parabolic push that's going to the sky, if that's not the case, then a real common characteristic is these big pumps. They come right back out, boom, right? And this one came double topped, and this big pump, it comes right back out, boom. And I was saying that it actually kind of started here with this green candle, and I wouldn't be surprised if this entire double top came back out, boom. And look, folks, look what just happened on this daily candle. Like, that entire thing came back out. So my last video is looking pretty solid with what I said, and I continue to talk about, I wouldn't be surprised. This pump actually kind of started here, and I'm not saying this is going to happen, but see this whole big green pump here, this on a bigger time scale, that's the big pump. And I was saying, is that all coming back out too? Boom. And what would that be? Oops, I got a little kooky with the lines there, but it's the bottom of that range, the golden horizontal line. See that? And you're talking about 60,800 is that golden support line there, right? It's no coincidence. If it continues to dump, I would not be surprised to see it come down and to the just say 61,000, 60,800 to 62,000 ballpark. This white line here, which is actually 62,150. But let's get rid of some of this scribble. You can see what I'm saying. And get off me. Get off me. Cat claws to the thighs when I'm trying to concentrate. Okay, so is that what's happening? And it kind of fits. It kind of fits, right? And with this green channel, if it stays in this green descending channel here, it kind of fits with a bounce off the top. See this? The bigger macro channel going down, the one I've been talking about for a long time, the little gray parallel channel on top of the green channel going down, that correlates pretty good also, in the next few days. And that general area, a bounce off the top of that bull trap extension, boom. So watch for that. But what happens, maybe there isn't a pump from there. Maybe the dump just kind of stops like it has here at this last range, and maybe it comes down to the 60,800 and comes back up to say, maybe even 63. See this range here? This, if it continues to dump, this range back here to the left is likely the range you will be looking at here on the right. It's not a perfect thing, but that's likely the scenario. And then if that happens, then I went for my last video. I said, this pump really started down here, right? On the larger scale at 56,541. Is this is actually the whole big pump. This is the giant double top, boom, right? And then you're talking kind of probably, this time could be a little messed up. I'm speculating here, but that would kind of correlate with the top of the green descending channel going down. And I would not be surprised if that big fella came back into play as support at some time here in the next few weeks to a couple months. This is the middle of June. This is June 18th, and July, August, September. We can still have 3 months before the post-halving pump starts. You got to watch social media. That'll if social media can get people hyped up sooner than that, then you're probably looking at a September halving pump start to the pump. That's July, August. That's still 3 months away. If you compare it to the last cycle, the halving pump didn't even start for another 3 months from where we're at right now. That's that's one thing that just the hype and the enthusiasm, and this can come down. And out of the question, not out of the question, in my opinion, is this range back here, right? See how I was doing this? This pump came back out, and then this range here, is this pump going to come back out? And if that happens, then is the pump really started down here? Is that coming back out? But what happens if it does come down here to 56,000 area, right? And this whole pump does in fact come back out. Well, then if that happens, then what if this is where the pump really started, right? And this whole giant thing is just basically a big giant top, right? You could maybe even call it a triple top, four top. It's kind of a flat top, whatever top. It doesn't matter what the top is. That this whole thing could be a top, right? And then boom, here's the 50,000. Maybe the heart line of this big green macro channel right here. Maybe this whole thing comes back out. Right? That's not off the table, folks. So be careful, right? The bottom of that range is here, about 50,500, a little lower maybe, right? And then the big post halving pump that eventually goes. I'm still sticking with 139,000 next all time high, which could in 2025. But I do suspect that Bitcoin will crack over 100,000 in 2024, and it likely will probably be just from what I've seen. I'm saying probably November 2024. Yeah, maybe sooner, maybe less sooner, maybe October, November. That's just speculation, but so what else I want to talk about? That's about it. And so let's go back to let's go back to Bitcoin USD, where they have a larger time frame. Where Bitcoin Phemex didn't support USDT Bitcoin pair until just a little while ago, but they had Bitcoin USD for a little over 4 years. So let's go back to the cup and handle. So that fits in pretty good, doesn't it, folks? I didn't show you the target for that cup and handle, but that fits in pretty good, doesn't it? Now that I went down there and showed you all that, let's go back here. Get some more of the scribble off here for your mind's eye to not be distracted. Okay, there it is, right? That's the weekly chart. This all-time high, November of 2021. This is a big cup and handle, and everything I just talked about over on the other chart, on the daily and hourly, that fits in pretty good, right? Let's actually go ahead and draw in. Let's go ahead and draw in a parallel channel. Okay, cup and hand here. Let's do the cup like this. Freehand the cup. There's the cup, and then let's get the parallel channel tool out. And I just want to show you this. I should have done this to start with, but it's not a real beautiful thing, and it doesn't have to be perfect. You're not looking at the channel here. You're looking at the get my magnet on. It's there. It's definitely there. Boom! Look at that. Boom! See that? And I could probably actually bring it down a touch, something like that. Right? That's the cup and handle. Right? There's the handle, the parallel channel, descending, bullish channel. He would be actually green. So let's stay there. That's how I do it. And that's supposed to be like that. There. Okay. There it is, right? And that fits in good, right? That analysis fits in good. See this? Okay, let's draw a horizontal line at 50,500, give or take area. Boom. Like that, white. Boom. Okay, and then some other important ones. What I say, that 60,800. Where's the 60,000? The 60,800 is there, right? And that the bottom of the range is about here. It represents that wick at about 56,500 or so. Boom. This is the range here from 50,000 to 53,000 I was talking about. If this whole thing were to come back out, boom. Now I'm not saying that's going to happen, and if it did come back down to like 50,000, it would probably be a wick a quick wick down, a death wick down, and then bought immediately way back up, right? There'll be intense buying pressure, I would imagine, in the low 50,000s. So it wouldn't last very long. Don't take me wrong. I'm not bearish, but if that whole analysis fits in good, now that I've seen this cup and handle on this massive time frame that started in 2021, that fits in good, doesn't it? Is, that's kind of maybe why the price of Bitcoin is going down. Does it come down here 60,800? See, that's working, and then maybe come back up, and then boom, and then that's that 56,000 area, right? And let's zoom in a little. That would be perfectly normal, and there will be panic, right? People will be panicking if they see Bitcoin doing that, right? But if you're watching my channel, what do you think is going to happen? Right? This is perfectly normal behavior. What if it did come down to that low 50,000s? There would be panic. Right? They'd be panicking, and that's exactly when everyone starts panicking and it's doom and gloom. That's exactly when this will come. And let's extend this guy down, say like this, right? And that's exactly, folks, exactly when everyone gets super scared. That's exactly when you want to have. That's when you want to be buying, right? Because that's boom, right? And that's why the cup and handle is bullish. It's a bullish continuation pattern, and I never got to this. I talked about it a couple times. The target for this guy would be, what you do is you measure from the middle of the cup to the top prices there. That's about a 50, let's say $53,000 target, and that would put it at about, the target for this giant guy would be about, this isn't perfect, and would be about, right, 53,000 would be $125,000 Bitcoin. $125,000 Bitcoin. And doesn't that fit in good, especially with what I've been saying, right? The initial parabolic pump for the true Bitcoin post halving Bitcoin pump. Now there'll be corrections on the way up, but I do think at the end of 2024, early 2025, that about 120,000, 125,000 will be kind of the big first top and the big correction, and then throughout 2025, it'll probably break up, go a little higher and put in this top up here. And I'm still sticking. Here it is, 139,000. I'm still sticking to that until I see a reason to get off my projection of 139,000, which probably won't happen until 2025. But the real interesting part is this one here, which I've been talking about, 120,000, 125,000. That's basically the end of the halving pump, and everything to the right is basically just chop, and great trading opportunities, of course. And that first peak will likely be beaten, and the all-time high will be out here later, but that fits in pretty good. That cup and handle target fits in amazingly good with my overall analysis of everything I've been saying since I started making videos again back in the end of February, March. Basically when it right there, when it got interesting, when the old all-time high got broke, is when I started making videos again. And so yeah, that looks pretty good to me. It really does. Now that's the weekly chart, right? So this the weekly chart. The cup and handle's on a weekly chart. So each one of these candles is an entire week, right? So this has a lot of time to continue to drop, or just, I think it's still kind of a downtrend, but you could say it's going sideways. As long as it holds above 56,500, it's basically going sideways. But it is kind of a downtrend too. It's definitely got bearish momentum to it, and so this is a weekly chart, or weekly candles, right? So one little candle is an entire week. You could be looking at 3 more months of this, right? This isn't something that's going to just go boom and you wake up tomorrow and it's happened. This could be all throughout summertime, right? And then the target for that green channel itself is 12,500. That channel by itself has a $12,500 target, right? So that would put about 77,000, right? But anyways, all right, that's it. I'm gonna get out of here. That's long enough. I yammered on for long enough. Fits in pretty good, and it does look like another piece to the puzzle. And that giant cup and handle. And I wanted to show you real quick. Just I should have shown you this. As you can tell, I just turn on the screen recorder and start talking. Pull up one of these. Let's look at this one. That's a cup and handle. The textbook with the textbooks will show you. See that? There it is. There's the cup and the handle. They have the handle drawn in as kind of a smaller cup on this one. It's not a, there's no certain exact. It's got to be exactly like this, right? And then you see the breakout. This one kind of goes off to the right and up. And I want to show you a different couple kind of these. And here's this one. This shows a more intense breakout. There's the cup, and they've got a parallel channel for the handle on this one, like I drew in. And look at the intensity. This is more of a parabolic. See the pump coming out of the handle on this one? Boom! That's probably what this post-halving Bitcoin pump will look more like. I don't think there's going to be any meandering slowly off to the right and up. It'll be more of a parabolic push, and it's going to be pretty exciting. And that's kind of a blurry picture, so let's go over to this last one I pulled up here. This might show a little better. Boom. There. This is more intense. This is what we could be looking at right here. See that? All right. So it's the weekly chart. It could continue to go down for a couple more months. It'd be perfectly normal and healthy. But people will be freaking out. And if you're just watching YouTube videos and listen to the advice on social media, they want your views, so they're going to psychologically screw with your head. Doom and gloom, blah, 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 or super moon pump, blah, 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 blah. But this is likely, probably, even if this isn't exactly what happens, this is pretty good, solid thing to have in your mind. And this will, this is, I like this one a lot. Let's zoom in on this. I like this one a lot right here. Take a gander at that, freeze that in your mind, and let me close this down and go back to the chart and end the video. Boom. Look at that. What do you think? What do you think, folks? What do you think? Huh? It looks like another piece to the puzzle. A little more, whatever happens here, I don't really care. But boom. That's looking good, man. It's looking real good. All right, later. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I do apologize for making this longer than it had to be. But there it is. Later. Bye.